we are giving away a free Steam key to the story-based adventure game The Silent Age. In this addictive game, you assume the role of a regular, unsuspecting janitor who sees himself confronted with the daunting task to save all of mankind. Simply answer the question at the beginning of every video to be entered for the giveaway running until July 31st. You can enter as many times as you want by answering every new question in order to increase your chances. Let's get it. Question for today's podcast is going to be, what games have I given advice on this channel before in the Alex's Gaming Tips series? And while you're already looking that up, watch them because they're pretty good. You'll learn something, I'll guarantee it. So, welcome to another episode of Trash Talk Podcast. I got JJ sitting around here and I'm excited for this one. Always having fun recording a podcast, but this one's going to be great. So, what are we talking about, man?
So, I guess we're talking about Edgar Allan Poe.
We're
cultured people.
We're cultured now. We have decided to start doing.
I guess Alex is cultured and he's gonna culture.
Upon recording, I've been cultured for about 36 hours, maybe, because I've started getting into audiobooks, right? Because here's a quick backstory, right? I love information and getting it. Like, if I had to choose a superpower, that wouldn't be like a crazy regular, like, oh, I want to fly or be invisible or something like that. It would be absorbing knowledge instantaneously. I can just flip through a book and just absorb all the knowledge.
How about immortality, though?
No. I like retaining and absorbing knowledge immediately. And the thing is, though, I'm not a reader. I don't read. I don't like to read. I cannot focus on reading for very long. My eyes will hurt. I can't concentrate. I don't read. Audiobooks are great. And because I'm traveling a lot, like I'm traveling between 2 and 3 hours a day currently.
Yeah.
So every day, basically. So audiobooks are really good for that. And I'm starting to get into those a lot more. And today, I actually got the chance to listen to 6 creepy stories by Edgar Allan Poe. I'm
not sure if you have to specify creepy. I think that's all the guy does, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's what the actual thing was called. There's also a video. That's also a video on YouTube, by the way. Go ahead if go for 6 creepy stories, Edgar Allan Poe. There you go, first video, 2 hours long, something like that. So, the guy.
All right, anyone can do that because they're public domain these days.
Yep, that's the great thing about it. Like I've before I got here, I've downloaded like all the classics. Like all the like Huckleberry Finn and The Great Gatsby and all that stuff. Catcher in the Rye. I downloaded all of those. Like probably 100 hours of just audiobook material. Because they're all up on YouTube, right?
Anything interesting like some Jules Verne or some of that?
1984?
That could be right, I don't know.
Look, I got 1984 by George Orwell. Or Animal Farm.
Oh yeah, Orwell also, yeah. There's a few good like sci-fi authors.
But I also really want to get
like Lovecraft for like more like fantasy cosmic horror type stuff.
I'm not about that stuff. I want first of all more of the classics. Like really the classics of Mice and Men, that sort of thing. So
how is Cthulhu not a classic?
I'm not sure. Maybe
what is it? What is the book actually called? Is it like Cthulhu Rising or something?
I don't know. I know Moby Dick's a classic, but I didn't download it yet. But like The Trial by Franz Kafka, that's supposed to be the one. So that sort of thing. Anyway, so Edgar Allan Poe, I did it today, so I got it fresh in my mind. And the man's a weird dude, and I have experienced that from just listening to some of the stories. So I've already touched on one that I told you before.
Yes.
And the common theme where it's like the narrator is basically sick in the mind. He kills a dude or kills someone, and then hides it perfectly, right? So he covers it up like a true crime lord. And then, through his own stupidity and overconfidence, it actually gets busted. When the police show up, and he shows them around the house, like, oh, nothing gonna happen, I'm a great person, and he just basically fucks it up himself. So, in The Telltale Heart, he actually there's a dude, right? He kills a man because he has a weird eye, and he doesn't like him.
That's the best reason to kill someone, I guess.
So that guy has a weird eye. I'm going to take that eye. But he can't really take that eye, so it's like, I'm going to kill this dude. So, first of all, what he does is, I'm just giving a summary here if you don't want to listen to it yourself. He sneaks into the dude's bedroom every night for a week.
Alright.
And he sticks around there for a while. Like, he takes like an hour to just hang out and check if the guy's sleeping. The guy is always sleeping, so it's cool. So that on like a week after, he's like, okay, dude always sleeping at midnight, I can get in there and I'm gonna kill him. So then he walks up in there, sneaks in there, takes like an hour to open the door and get in there, and then he stands before his bed, and then he's like, I'm gonna try to kill this guy now. And all of a sudden he makes a noise, like accidentally makes a noise, and the guy wakes up and sits up in his bed, and all of a sudden, like, the dude is like, he's standing completely still. It's an old man, so he can't see him, right?
Sure, that logic holds up.
So the guy just stands there for an hour, waiting for the old dude to lay down again, but he doesn't lay down because he's that paranoid now. So he's not laying down, but he's also not getting up either.
Alright.
So he's just standing there, not moving at all for an hour, until the old guy eventually gets a heart attack and dies from that.
I'm pretty sure what he was thinking of was like dinosaurs or something, because people can see other people even if they're not moving.
Likely, but it was dark.
Alright, but was it that dark?
Apparently it was that dark. I don't know, it was dark. So, the old dude eventually dies from a heart attack.
So it didn't even really kill him?
No, he dies from a heart attack, and when he makes that noise, he screams, right? The old guy wakes up and screeches.
Alright.
And a neighbor hears it.
Oh, shit.
So, the guy dies from a heart attack, and once that happens, then the narrator goes on ahead and buries him underneath the floorboards. Like, he chops up his corpse, buries him underneath the floorboards.
That seems like a long way to go to
yeah,
hide a corpse of someone that you didn't even kill.
Absolutely.
Well, indirectly did,
yeah.
But
then he cleans up the whole area, makes it look all natural, all nice and dandy and all that. And okay, so next day police show up, right?
Yes.
They're like, oh yeah, the neighbor called us because that guy was screaming at night. So what the hell happened? And the narrator's like, oh, I don't know, I didn't see him. I no clue what happened.
I mean, fair enough.
And then he shows him around the whole house. And it's like, it's described how, like, oh, I was so confident about this. Like, I wasn't even nervous at all when they worked around the bedroom and all that, because I hit it so perfectly. So, and then he gets cocky to the point where he brings in chairs into the bedroom, like right above the floor where he buried the guy, and just has them all sit down there, invites them for like a coffee break, and just chat around with him in that specific room. And he places his chair right above the place where he buried him, right?
That seems unnecessarily
because
specific.
He got overconfident. And then...
But that is no one wondering, like, why do you want to specifically have coffee in the bedroom?
No, he just like, oh, I brought chairs in there. Let's do it right now. Like, let's sit around and chat. And then he actually, in his mind, starts hearing the heartbeat of that guy that he buried.
Oh, God.
And it's like, it's getting louder and louder, and he's like, oh my God, he's alive. And his
Didn't you say he cut him up into pieces and shit?
Apparently, yeah, I think so. He was definitely dead, but like, oh, his heart is beating. He's still alive. Oh shit! The guy, the police dudes are gonna hear it, and then he's just like eventually when it's really loud, he's like, okay, fuck this. Yeah, I admitted that I buried the guy right here. There you go. Like, these are the floorboards. Here's the corpse. I plead guilty. End of story. So much for being cocky.
Yeah, I guess guilt got him in the end. I don't know.
It's never actually revealed if the guy's heart was beating or if he envisioned it, but I think it was in his mind.
But if he said he cut him up into pieces...
I think so, yeah.
That would suggest that he was actually properly, definitely dead.
Yeah. But he was like, oh, I'm hearing this sound of his heart beating, and it's getting so loud, this can't be just in my head. This is coming from the outside. But anyway, the similar theme in The Black Cat. That's one of his more famous pieces. So... dude lives in a secluded house with his wife and a lot of pets. They got a lot of pets, including a black cat.
I figured, yes.
Which the black cat is his favorite pet. But the dude is like a crazy person, and he punches his pets and starts abusing his pets. And also his wife.
Don't do that, people.
Also his wife.
Don't do that either,
yeah,
people.
Every once in a while. So, but except for the black cat. Like, because that's his favorite. Like, the black cat, best friend, he's not doing anything to it. But then...
yeah, like, The other pets, the wife, whatever.
Like he's got
that one black cat.
He's got monkeys and all that. He's beating them up and abusing the animals. So except for the black cat, but then one day the black cat like bites him in the hand or something like that.
Okay.
He bites him in the hand and he gets completely mad. He goes absolutely nuts and he ends up killing the cat. He actually hangs the cat like on a tree outside or something. Like he literally executes the cat.
That seems like the weirdest way to kill a cat, especially because it's probably going to scratch you all the way through that process.
He hangs the cat.
Sure.
So then, being overcome by guilt, he goes on ahead and tries to get a similar cat. Like he goes out and wants to purchase a new cat. So he's looking for a cat that looks the same way, like a big black cat, right?
Okay.
Goes ahead and gets a big black cat that looks almost the same, except it's got a white patch of hair on its belly. So brings that cat home, and that cat doesn't like him at all. Like for some reason, that cat seems to hate him, and he feels like tortured by that cat because that cat is tormenting him wherever he goes, basically.
Okay.
Like, he absolutely hates the cat. But he's not killing it because of the guilt of what he did to the other cat.
Yes.
So he's not trying to kill the cat. So eventually he snaps again and he's swinging for the cat. Like he's throwing a punch at the cat and his wife stops him. So she literally grabs his hands like, don't hit the cat. And instead of killing the cat, he then kills his wife.
Wait, so you said he also abuses his wife.
Yeah.
And the way you pointed specifically out that she stops him from beating up the cat, suggests that she never thought about doing that for herself?
To beat up the cat?
No! To tell him, no, don't do this.
I don't know.
You prick.
I don't know. It's like, oh yeah, see, my wife grabbed my hand as I was striking the cat. And it's like, and then I killed my wife. So he killed his wife, and he takes the corpse, although the cat runs away, right? Because the cat apparently knows, like, he's gonna kill me next. Right? So the cat runs away. Gets out of there.
Whatever, yeah.
So he grabs the corpse and takes it downstairs in the basement and hides the corpse in the wall. Like he tears down the bricks.
Yeah.
Drops the corpse behind the wall and puts his masonry skills to the test. Like puts up the wall again, right?
Yeah, that's like a stereotypical thing in their crime
Right.
dramas and everything, yeah.
And once again, like excruciating detail, the description. Oh, it's so perfect. Like no one can fight. It looks exactly the same as before. There's no way.
And then the wall starts bleeding.
Nope, but the police shows up again.
Yeah, I know. He leads him down the room.
Yeah, he leads him down the room. He's like, oh, hey, check out this room.
There's a heartbeat.
There's not a heartbeat. There's nothing in there. There's absolutely nothing in there. No. And then all of a sudden, he's like, oh, look how good these walls are. They're perfect. Like, and he takes a stick and he knocks on the wall where he's like buried his wife behind, right? Like he knocks on the wall, like, oh, look at these walls are. And all of a sudden, there's like a noise coming from behind the wall. And it's like, oh my gosh, she's still alive. And of course, everyone hear it, and they'll tear down the wall, and they find the corpse. And on top of the corpse is the black cat.
Oh.
Who's been making noise to lead the guy to a death sentence. Because he accidentally buried the cat with his dead wife up in there.
Alright.
Without noticing it. And the cat eventually caused his demise.
So those two seem very similar, except that this time around the noise was real.
This time around the noise was definitely real. It was caused by a cat. Edgar Allan Poe is I love his writing style, by the way, but he's a weird fella.
Yeah, seems like it.
I don't know what's up with that, but he's a weird dude. And then there's also another one that's the Mask of the Red Death.
Well, you know what they say, right? Like if you're like that today, you're called insane.
Yeah.
If you were like that 100 years ago, they'll call you brilliant now.
Exactly. So I also got another fact about Edgar Allan Poe later. Not the fact of the week, but I'll give it anyway. So the other one was the Mask of the Red Death. So this is basically about damn near a zombie apocalypse is going on. Like the Red Death, which causes people to bleed violently from everywhere and then die from it. And it's infectious too, because why not? So there's this prince who has like this fortress almost. This huge castle fortress where he invites his closest friends, 1,000 of them.
Yeah.
To hang out and survive with him. right? And he's like, he's got a bunch of chambers in there, and it's just stacking all kinds of riches. So there's, like, he got entertainment and food, and he's basically throwing a huge party down there.
Alright, yeah, sure.
And just because he's rich, he gets to survive with all of his closest friends. And
that's how being rich works, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. And then just the party goes down and stuff like that, and all of a sudden, like, people are dressing up, of course, like, it's a mask ball. And then there's one dude who's dressing up like almost like a zombie. He's like a really tall dude. He's wearing a mask that resembles a person who's suffering from the Red Death.
That seems tactically a bit stupid, because maybe someone will I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
That's probably not a good idea.
So that's obviously not a good idea. So once the prince notices that guy, he's like, oh my god, how would he dare to make fun of us like that? And he's ordering all his dudes, like, go kill that guy. Like, go catch him, and we're going to hang him at sunrise. Or something like that. And then people are going around trying to find him, but they can't catch him. And he's just walking around, and the prince is walking around. And
he goes into a room, takes the mask off, puts on a different mask, walks out the room, no one will ever know. Yeah. Exactly.
No. So, and then the prince, all of a sudden, he catches up to him, and none of his men went after the guy or caught him. So he catches up to him, and is like, hey, stop. Like, he stops him, and then
he's actually infected, and he infects the prince, right?
No, but then he just stabs the prince. Like, he turns around and
that's fair enough, too.
Kills him. He stabs him in the gut and kills him, and, like, it's just, like, this story is a lot of filler. It's just a description of how the rooms are looking and what colors they are, and, all the scarlet, crimson, blood, that type of stuff, right? Yeah. So this story it's a long story. It's over 30 minutes. But the basic plot is what I just said. So he kills the prince, and in the end, it's also heavily implied that he did have the infection as well, and everyone dies. There you go. Happy ending.
I was about to say, it sounds like a happy ending, yeah.
Yeah, that's that. I mean,
all the rich assholes died, yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. And there's also the poem "The Raven," which the contents of which I can't really reiterate. There's a dude sitting around. He's lonely, like sitting in his house, just hanging out. And speaking in rhymes to himself for some reason, because it's a poem.
Yeah.
And then a raven shows up, and he's kind of having a dialogue with the raven. And it's just, everything's just rhyming, but the only thing that the raven will always say is nevermore. Right? That's the only quote that the raven says, is nevermore. So it's like, blah, 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 something that rhymes with, or, quote the raven, nevermore. And then, like, the raven just says nevermore like 5 times whenever it just fits in there for some reason. But it's basically just a monologue of the dude. More or less, like in his head. And it's a 13-minute poem, so that's pretty tough to write.
Yeah.
I mean, props to Edgar Allan Poe for that. I like the guy. I've downloaded 10 more hours of his stuff.
That's a lot, yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot. Maybe in a future podcast we can do more book reviews, man. Since I'm that type of person now. I don't know.
This is now officially the TrashcanTV Book Club.
The Book Club. Oh, yeah. I'm a huge fan. Breakfast Club, too. At Tiffany's. Okay. Yeah. Well, before we get into the halftime show, that one fact that I promised about Edgar Allan Poe, you know how he died?
I do not know how he died.
The man died from exposure when he got so drunk that he fell asleep on the curb in the streets, and he just froze to death.
Okay.
And he did that, like, in the middle of the city, right? And people were just passing by, just seeing that guy, like, they'll walk past him. Because apparently he was such an asshole that no one cared to look after him. Like, they just see, like, Edgar Allan Poe is sitting there, like, laying down in the streets, dying from exposure there, drunk to hell. And it's like, you know what, that guy is a jerk. I'm not helping that guy. And that's how he died.
Well.
So fitting. So fitting. Anyway, yeah, great dude. Did you also know that the Baltimore Ravens were named after him, more or less?
I did not know, but it makes sense because the Raven is commonly associated with him.
Yeah, exactly. So there we go, the Baltimore Ravens. That's some Edgar Allan Poe facts.
You might have actually mentioned that before.
Yeah, possible. We have a halftime show, though.
Yes, we do.
And what's it about, man?
It's
Let me hear it.
Some kind of Hearthstone-related quiz that you wanted to...
I'm going to ask you a bunch of stuff about the Hearthstone meta.
Because I'm that knowledgeable about the Hearthstone meta.
Well, some of these are just like, guess the best answer. So, first one, I just have a huge sheet of information on like certain Hearthstone cards.
Yes.
How often they are played, what's the win rate of them within the deck, or win rate when they are played, what percentage of cards are they played, and stuff like that. So, let's just go to this very first one. So, what card is in the highest percentage of decks?
The most commonly played card.
No, the card in the highest percentage of decks.
The Lich King.
That is the Lich King, because we looked at that before.
Yeah, I was about to say we looked at that shortly before recording this, yeah.
So, you want to go for some other ones, though, below that?
Oh, God, no. Now I'm trying to remember. It's basically, after it's like the most played cards, I'm not sure if the order is the exact same. It's like Firefly. Serenite Chain Gang, and Tar Creeper. Not sure if the order is correct.
That's the exact order.
Wow.
Also, in what percent of decks is the Lich King being played, though?
Was it like 38 or something like that?
It's 33.
Close
but that's
enough.
Still really good. For it being a legend, like, Jesus Christ. Okay, how many copies on average are ran off Firefly?
Okay. It's probably got... Wait, like, just for the decks that run it, or in all decks?
Just in the decks that run it.
Okay. It's probably going to be less than 2, because if it was exactly 2, that would mean that every single deck has it. Like 1.75?
It's 1.9.
Wow.
It's 1.9. How many copies of the Lich King?
1.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Is there cards that are just strictly, like, 2 copies of them? Like, every deck that has 2 of them.
Well, exactly 2 between all decks 100% is no. But to the point where they would round it to 2, maybe.
Yes, so they actually have a whole list of cards listed at 2, like a bunch, like dozens. For example, like Wild Growth is a good example.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Wild Growth, Mind Blast.
Yeah.
Nourish, Duskbreaker, Deadly Poison, you know, those that just kind of, they always go together, basically. Level Up, you know. Mountain Giant, Animal Companion, or Healing Ray. So, you know, something like that. They just always go together. So, let's look at some deck win rates. What card has the highest deck win rate? So, of all decks that it's in, this card, it has a... It's defined as the average win rate of decks that include this card.
Okay,
This one's actually interesting.
The highest one.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm trying to think if there is a card that is exclusively run by Odd Paladins, because they do have the single best win rate. Odd Paladin. Level Up.
Level Up is number 2 on this list, yes. It's a lot of just Odd Pally cards, yeah. That is absolutely...
Righteous Protector.
Righteous Protector is not in there.
No,
because, it's up there, but it's like number 10 or something.
Yeah, because it can be run by other paladins too.
It's still less than 1% off.
I'm trying to think if Baku or like Leroy will be in there, but they are running all kinds of decks. So
definitely pulled it down.
What is run almost exclusively there? Lost in the Jungle?
Lost in Jungle is in there at number 6.
Yeah, because you can also run it in more budget-oriented decks.
So Level Up is at number 2 with 57.2%, right?
Yeah.
But 57.3% at number 1, Corridor Creeper.
Alright.
Corridor Cheaper. Vine Cleaver is the same as Level Up, and then you got Storm Champion, Unidentified Maul, Lost in the Jungle, Blessing of Might, Raid Leader, Divine Favor, all within like 1 percentage point.
Yeah.
And then there's Merc Spark Eel.
Okay, yeah, fair. It's the second best deck, basically.
Even Shaman, obviously. Also, Happy Ghoul is in there.
Alright.
Happy Ghoul. I don't know if it's in like a Echo Warlock or something. Light Warden as well for Zoo. And Alakir the Wind Lord. Even though he's not played a lot, but he's in there. Also Galaka Crawlers. Because they don't show up everywhere. But when they run them, apparently Galaka Crawlers just have a win rate.
Yeah, but at that point, I'm not sure if you can actually make any logical extrapolations from it, or if it's just...
Yeah, they were just played 27,000 times, while the other ones were always around 1 million.
Yeah, exactly, right? It's like they were played so few times that they just happen to have a high win rate.
So, what cards are the most played cards, though? Or what is the most played card, specifically?
Oh, yeah, right, that's the ones that most made it to the board, actually. I seem to remember it being Serenade Chang'e.
Yes.
And then I believe the list goes pretty similarly to the stuff that I said after Lich King, where it is Firefly and then Tar Creeper.
Stonehill Defender and then Tar Creeper.
Oh, Stonehill Defender.
And then it's Wild Growth, Life Drinker.
Wild Growth I could have maybe told you, yeah.
So, I think I have a theory why it's specifically Chang'e and Life Drinker up there too. Because in Shudderwalk, you'll often play more than 2 copies of those. You're bringing them back with the Grumble, you're bringing them back with the Zola.
Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of what puts it up a lot. Doomsayer is also up there, and the Lich King, actually. For like a... Lich King is the only legend in sight. Like, the Lich King is played 2.1 million times. That's almost twice as much as the second legend on this list. Which is?
The second legend on the list?
Yep.
Oh, God, let me think. God, there's a few things that I'm thinking of right now. It could be like Gul'dan. It could be Hadronox.
Very unlikely that's the class card, though. I would assume.
Oh, Leroy.
It's actually Kel'Thuzad.
Oh, okay, fair.
Actually, Prince Kel'Thuzad. We got percentage of played cards as well. So, I mean, that basically correlates with the same thing. Percentage of played cards is... Changing is number 1. Firefly is still,
Wait, percentage of played cards as in...
Of all cards.
Yeah, but that would be the exact same order as the total number of times played.
1.8% of all played cards are Serenade Chang'es.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. But this is the most interesting one that I've been looking for. Played win rate. So, we have... I mean, there's some really high win rates in there, but just give me some estimates. You've said before that you think like Blood Reaver Gul'dan, for example, will be in there.
So, those cards would most likely on top be the ones that if you play them, you win relatively soon after.
Yeah.
Because that means they won't be played a lot without winning.
Correct.
Which makes me think Blood River Gul'dan, like, if you look at statistics like Leroy Jenkins, oftentimes.
Yeah. So Blood Reaver Gul'dan, I'm not seeing in this list.
Okay.
And it's there, but it's like really like in the middle, around 50 or something.
Wow.
Leroy Jenkins is actually number 7 on the list. So there's some above that.
Dire Mole.
Nope. Even though that should be totally number
That
one.
was more of a joke.
Yeah.
Shudderwalk.
Shudderwalk is number 1.
Yeah, obvious.
What's the win rate when you play Shudderwalk? When it's being played, what's the win rate?
92.7%.
83.7%. Because there's more controlled Shudderwalk than OTK Shudderwalk going on these days.
Fair.
But still, Shudderwalk is... Yeah, it's got some good distance on the next one, though. But what else? Some more.
I wonder if stuff... If like Chain Gang is in there, but then again, you would probably...
It's played so much.
It's played so much
that
probably would make it about 50-50, right?
It's played so much that the win rate one played is probably about the same as the deck win rate.
Uther of the Ebon Blade.
No. Really.
See, the thing is, there is probably only a handful of people insane enough to play it,
yeah.
And those are probably all good players, so they might pull it off. I don't know.
Maybe, but I
because
don't think
if there's like 10 times being played and 9 of them are winning,
with Uther, you're also trying to pull off the whole thing combination, right? The hero power combination.
Mm-hmm.
So, but just playing Uther doesn't do that. You need to also have the Gadsden Auctioneer and the other stuff.
Yeah.
Shudderwalk is there, yeah.
Yeah, of course, Shudderwalk seems like the most obvious one. What else can flip a game really well? The problem is like stuff like Psychic Stream just delays, it doesn't win.
You should look at stuff that doesn't necessarily flip a game, but like specific decks and just
Kill Command.
Their win condition. No, not Kill Command. But King Crush is there.
King Crush is there. Wow.
Is up there. It's one spot below Leroy Jenkins. But I'm gonna give you one example in what direction you're supposed to be thinking. Mind Blast is number 2. Because when a priest plays Mind Blast, he'll most likely kill you.
Yes.
So those types of cards.
I might be a bit crazy, but Hadronox?
Hadronox? No.
Because it's also not like an instant win thing.
Hadronox is there, but like rather low. Like 20.
What instantly wins? That's why I was thinking like Leroy, because you...
Yeah, Leroy is definitely one of those. Absolutely.
What else does that?
So another example is, number 3 is Savage Roar.
Bloodlust.
Bloodlust is number 5. Correct.
Of course, those two cards are very similar.
Yeah.
Like, Savage Roar is one cheaper, but it gives you one less attack, but it also gives it to your hero.
Correct.
Huh.
Bloodlust isn't played much at all. It's played like 50,000 times.
Yeah, of course, it doesn't have to be played much, though,
Exactly.
to almost always win when it is being played.
So just read the list?
Yeah, let's just read the list.
Okay, so Shudderwock, Mind Blast, Savage Roar. Pyroblast.
Oh, yeah. I could have gotten Pyroblast.
Bloodlust, obviously. Yeah, that Vivid Nightmare. Also an interesting card. Totally not played a lot, but when it's played, it's summoning that second Velen or Malagos or whatever, and it's just gonna kill you.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Leroy Jenkins, King Crush, Molten Reflection.
Oh, God. Quest Mage is still a thing.
The deck win rate is 40%. And it's played 0.02% of the cards. But it's a 66% win rate.
Yeah, of course, by the time you're actually playing it, you usually have some kind of combo going.
Master O-Card.
Yeah, I mean...
Malagos. O-Card and Taunt. There you go. Malagos, makes sense. Play dead. Alright.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Antonidas, another Quest Mage one. There you go. Carnivorous Cube, Kathrina Winterwisp, Wind Fury. The card Wind Fury.
I know the card Wind Fury. It's 2 mana, give a minion Wind Fury. It might be give a friendly minion Wind Fury, I'm not entirely certain.
It's a minion. Give a minion Wind Fury.
That's the type of thing that you don't focus on. It's like, it doesn't have to be friendly? Why would I give an opponent's minion Wind Fury? The answer is to drop a card.
Frostlich Jaina.
Pretty good card.
Sapphire Spellstone, so that's the Shaman OTK.
Yeah.
They have Silver Vanguard, pull an Alakir the Windlord, and then summon a bunch of copies off it.
Yeah, I know. I've seen someone run it with Snow Fury Giants like way back.
Snow Fury Giants, and then give them all the resummon themselves again when they die.
Yeah. Crazy good.
Grumble. Hadronox. Moonfire. Moonfire with the Moonfire with the Malagos, right?
Yeah, I know.
Dragon
but it seems so ridiculous.
I know. But it's pretty good. Dragon Caller Alana.
Yeah.
Silas Fungal Lord, also with the Malagos. Witching Hour. Cindergosa. Seeping Oozling. Woe Cleaver.
I feel like we're getting to a lot of the second card in that combo deck.
Exactly. There's like Emerys and Vel and Captain Greenskin, stuff like that. I mean, Spirit Singer, Umbra. I mean, Sunkeeper Terram is there, which is definitely one that I would have expected to be kind of high.
Yeah, but Sunkeeper Terram you don't necessarily use to kill your opponent. You sometimes use to swing the board, and then they Duskbreaker, and then that's that.
And then, like, after those cards, you just get to the cards that are just in the most winning decks. Like, you got Level Up, you got Mountain Giant, those types of things. And Prince Talaram, Shadow Reaper, Kaliseth.
Yeah, that's fair.
Possessed, like Life Drinker, Sprint, Eternal type of stuff. So that's that quiz. That's some interesting stuff. So Shudderwock. People need to play more Shudderwock, because when you play Shudderwock, you win 83% of the time. Just play him. Like turn 9, just play him. Doesn't matter. Statistically, you're winning. Doesn't matter if you had a battle cry before that entire game. You're winning.
It's the exact opposite of our Shudderwock strategy.
Exactly. So
don't even run Shudderwock in your deck. Gives you one extra spot for a battle cry.
Yeah.
People will resign.
They'll rage quit
before you actually get to play him anyways.
Because they're too afraid of the walk. Because they think you're gonna lay it down on them a 20-minute animation, but you're not even running him. You don't even need to, because they'll just resign before.
We should have done that for the budget shaman.
Oh yeah, this fake Shudderwock. Like
just yeah.
Oh yeah.
Shudderwock shaman without Shudderwock.
Oh man.
There you go.
That would have been great. Let's get into the fact.
We should low-key try that at some point.
We actually should, yeah. Let's get a fact of the week, man.
You do kind of know some stuff about science, don't you?
Oh, yeah, depends on what type of science and what exactly.
Well, the fact itself is more of a chemical one, but it does have implications towards both biology and physics.
Yeah, you've mentioned that before, I think. What's the fact?
Okay, the fact itself...
And is it the fact?
Not that spectacular. Well, so the water that you're most familiar with, like tap water, like the stuff that runs down rivers, whatever, is not the exact same thing as H2O.
Yeah, of course.
Because there is stuff that's in it.
There's like minerals.
Like solved in it. Not the same thing. Which has multiple implications. Number 1. Physics. Water is not good, or I should say H2O is not good at conducting electricity.
Yeah.
Your everyday water, though, is.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the stuff in it then can rearrange the charges and blah, 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 and then...
Correct.
The other thing.
Don't drink the H2O.
Exactly. You might have heard it before. Don't drink distilled water, it's not good for you.
No.
That is true. Because the concentration of stuff that's solved in H2O, of course, is... If it's really pure H2O, 0.
Yeah.
So your cells have water in them, with a lot of stuff just floating in it that's dissolved in it, which technically means it's not visibly floating. Anyways, and then the membranes of the cells will let through the water, but none of the stuff solved in it. And naturally, by the way that the liquids work, they're trying to reach the same concentration on both sides, which they then can only do by moving the water.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why when you're drinking solid water, it basically sucks all the water out of your cells, and they just dry out.
Yeah.
If you're drinking pure H2O, the opposite happens. The cells draw in as much water as they possibly can, and they'll explode.
Wonderful.
Or so I've heard. The point is...
You'll explode if you do that.
Of course you won't explode because it won't just kill you, but...
You will literally explode.
It's not good for your cells to drink water with too much stuff or not enough stuff solved in it.
Correct.
So, yeah, there's basically 3 facts that are related enough to get it for the price of 1.
That's all one fact. One huge science fact.
Yeah.
Alright, here's another fact. Don't drop your bottle while I'm presenting my facts. Maybe don't drink while we doing this thing at all. Are you really that depressed already? You got a drink? Come on now.
Suggesting I'm drinking alcohol.
I don't know what you're drinking out there. Is it H2O?
It's the main component, yeah.
Okay.
There's also stuff solved in it like, let's see.
Sodium?
Like sodium plus.
All that stuff.
There's calcium, there's magnesium.
There's a lot of stuff.
There's chloride, there's sulfate, there's hydrocarbonate, there's fluoride.
He's basically consuming water is what he's trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the fact of the week, man. You are familiar with football a little bit?
Yes.
In 2012... the Indianapolis Colts selected a quarterback with the first overall pick.
That doesn't seem to be too unusual.
In 2012, the Indianapolis Colts also selected a quarterback with the very last pick in the draft. Which is the absolute first time that I've ever seen that happening or heard of that happening.
Yeah, that seems like a very specific set of circumstances.
It rarely happens that the same team will have the first and last pick in the draft.
That's what I was thinking. Would that even happen a lot? Yeah.
And would they pick quarterbacks with both of those? First one, yes. Second one, somewhat unlikely. I actually found that out while I was doing research for my Sam Darnold video.
Okay.
Put an info card. Cool. That's a fact of the week, man. Interesting. Colts, yeah. One of them stuck around, by the way. Number 1 pick, Andrew Luck. Second guy, in the end, don't remember his name. But yeah, that's that. Fact of the week. So, we have a second topic, and this one is, interesting. Because we're about to learn some stuff about ourselves. Each other.
I was about to say more actually each other.
So the challenge was to present facts to each other that we first of all anticipate the other person to not know about ourselves yet. And then that person would need to guess if that is a correct fact or a lie. So you can put true facts and you can make up stuff about yourself. And then we'll see how good we can detect if we're lying or not. Correct?
Yes.
So we got eight facts. We both got.
I feel like it's less
facts.
about actually the ability to spot the lie and more about actually guessing whether it's true or not, because
Well, yeah, of course, sure.
it's tough to distinguish
That's
in
true.
the presentation just from the outside factors.
That's
Though there is, of course, always micro tells. Then again, it's dark in the room, so whatever.
Yeah, that's true. So, you can start. Tell your first story, man. What's up?
For the first one, I chose something very simple. There's only 3 words.
Uh-huh.
It's a short sentence. I like milk.
Does JJ like milk? Alright, let me do this scientifically now. Have I ever seen you drink milk? I don't think so. But I have heard you criticize me before for eating cereal with water instead of milk.
That is true.
I'm going to say you do in fact like milk.
No.
You don't like milk?
I don't like milk. At least not as just like pouring a glass of milk and drinking it, no.
Yeah.
Like with cereal, with other stuff in it, sure, but like just straight up milk, no.
No milk?
No milk.
That's okay. I would have thought you might like milk. Well, I've never seen you drink milk, so I might have gotten that. Did you know that, however, I at one point in real life saw the French president? I didn't get to see him from close up, but I was in France at one point.
Yes.
On a trip, so the France, and we were doing a history tour, all that stuff, and actually, well, I just saw his car. Basically, I saw the bunch of cars that show up when a politician drives through.
Yes.
They have 3 cars, they know what she's in. So I technically didn't see the guy, but I saw one of the car, the car that he was driving in. Not sure which one it was, but the French president drove by somewhat close to the area I was happening to be standing in that moment.
Alright. There was a lot to the story.
Yes.
Which, on the one hand, could be overcompensating for it being wrong. But that's completely realistic, so I'm just gonna say true.
No.
See?
Not true. Made up. All of it.
See, that's what I was saying. So many facts, it seems like you're overcompensating for it being false.
Never happened.
So, let's see, what have I written down? Here's something weird that I did.
Alright. Is there something that you did that wasn't weird? Ever?
I breathe. I sleep. I eat.
Do
I drink.
Do you not make weird noises while doing any of those? Which would make it weird? I don't know. Continue.
You're throwing me off a track here. Anyways,
right.
So what I was gonna say is that I recently, for some reason, watched a lot of people playing Magic the Gathering.
Okay. Is that weird? Like watching Brian Kibler tournaments and stuff like that?
No.
Not
him.
I can definitely see you watching that. I mean, why wouldn't you watch it? You like Hearthstone? You like nerd stuff, and Magic the Gathering isn't nerd stuff. So did you watch it on YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll totally see you doing that. And if you didn't do it, then you'll probably will or have it at one point before. Yeah, you definitely did watch that before.
Yeah, it's totally true. Yesterday and the day before, watched way too much of that out.
Like a lot, hours?
Yeah.
Why? You played yourself?
No.
Do you understand the game?
Yes.
Get what it's about?
Yeah.
In full?
Yep.
I really don't. I've seen 5 minutes of just. I got a link from Brian Kibler.
Well, when you say do you play yourself, I don't have any cards, but I did also play bits of the video game versions and stuff.
I really have no clue how I know it's supposed to be like Hearthstone.
It's actually, while it is a fair comparison, there is a lot of differences though.
Alright.
Because, for example, you don't attack other people's creatures. You attack them directly to the face, and then they can be like, "Oh yeah, I'm putting my creature in between there." Oh,
okay. So it's blocking stuff.
Yes, it is actually called blocking.
Oh yeah, fair enough, makes sense. So it's a bit different from Hearthstone. I do enjoy the video game version. I'll stick with Hearthstone for now. Here's a fact about me. Well, not necessarily about me, but both of my parents were actually fairly decent athletes in high school. That's a fact.
I'm gonna call bullshit.
You're gonna call bullshit.
Yes.
That is correct. And I was hoping for you to totally buy it, because you know that my father played football?
Yes.
And you don't know about my mom, but the thing is, my mom actually was a really good high school athlete. But my dad already started playing football when he was out of high school.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of what I was trying to catch you with there. But yeah, you got it. For the wrong reasons, but you got the right answer. Fair enough.
So you know how I'm basically allergic to everything?
Yeah.
So, here's one that you might not have known before. I'm allergic to chocolate.
Are you allergic to chocolate? No, the same thought as with milk. Have I ever seen you eat chocolate? And the answer to that is, yeah. Yeah, I think so.
When?
I've definitely seen you having chocolate around. I think so. So, you know what? I'm just gonna say no, you're not allergic to chocolate, because I'm fairly certain you've had chocolate around your room before, and I think some of that might have been gifts from other people, and people would give you that stuff if you were allergic to it. So no, you're not. Maybe very mildly, but not to a point where you can't eat it.
First of all, most of the things that I'm allergic to, I'm mildly allergic to the point where I can eat them. And no, I'm not allergic to chocolate.
Yeah.
And yes, I constantly have chocolate lying around that someone gifted me.
Exactly.
I don't actually eat chocolate that much.
They wouldn't give it to you if you were allergic to it, though.
I don't even think that's true. Like,
if they knew you can't eat it at all, why would they give it to you? That's dumb.
Okay, sure, if they knew I was allergic to it, but then again, do they care enough?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
It's all like aunts and uncles and grandparents and stuff.
Anyway, they would know, right? I don't know.
Probably not.
You're not allergic to chocolate anyway. So, I've mentioned audiobooks before, and I'm getting into that stuff and all that. And all the literature and all that. But despite all of that, up until this point of recording this video, over the entire span of my life, the amount of books that I have read, like physically read from a piece of paper, books that I have read in its entirety, and of my own volition. So I wasn't forced to do it by school.
Yes.
The amount of books in that category is 1.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Wait, that's a series though, isn't it?
I'm considering that one book. I'm considering The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy as one book, because it's one story.
Okay, in that case, the answer is either that it's true, or that there's some kind of book about football that you read at some point. Right. Wait, no. You gifted me 2 books about YouTube, and you said you read them.
That's true.
So you read at least 3 books.
Yeah, that's true.
You probably only read one story that's like a novel type thing, but you read at least 3 books.
Yeah, technically, I did read these books. And technically, there's also a bunch of Garfield comics, like old Garfield comics.
Yeah.
But yes, I did. I was hoping to get you with The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, because I tend to always exclaim that that's the only book I've ever read of my own volition in its entirety. Which is true, by the way. I mean, these, of course, but it's 30 pages, and it's more of informative stuff.
And in a way too large font, and in weird spacing.
I've also read math books before, just for fun.
Yeah.
But there you go.
That reminds me how you got gifted one for graduation because of having good grades.
Actually, that comes to my mind. I also read another book. I read A True West by Sam Shepard in high school. I read it. I got it at the school library, and I read it.
Okay.
It's 100 pages. I read it. It's about 2 brothers who are writers, I think. It's been a while.
I mean, it's no surprise that I used to read a lot back in the day.
Yeah.
That's not one of those facts on this list. You just knew that.
I know that.
So, we talked about food before.
Yeah.
And because I didn't write those down in order, that was totally not intentional that those are back to back. But my favorite ice cream flavor is actually lemon.
True. Yeah, true.
I think I mentioned that before.
Yeah, you mentioned that before. Absolutely lemon. We've had that debate before.
I think that was also the fact on here that I was most likely to assume that you knew, but I just put it anyway.
Ice cream lemon. I could have told you, oh yeah, ice cream. Jenny likes lemon ice cream. That's the thing I have. That's the thing I have in my brain. That's just a well-known fact, and it's now YouTube knows it too. I
might have actually mentioned it on the podcast before as well, but I just didn't. I was fairly certain that at some point mentioned it, but I wasn't sure if you would remember it, so that's...
So, you know me for not really being all that, careful and conscious about people around me.
Yes.
You present me as having a lack of empathy at some points.
Yeah,
well,
sure.
Whatever. Okay, so, actually, that's not true, because I literally boycott certain clothing companies, specifically sports clothing companies, out of protest of child labor. So I basically don't wear any specific sports brand clothing because of child labor.
First of all, being empathetic towards people around you is different than being actively against child labor.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
And second of all, while I know that's a thing that a lot of people do, you strike me as the type of person that could be bothered by that necessarily. If for no other reason than by putting out the argument that a lot of others are probably doing it too, you just don't know it. I'm gonna actually say false.
Absolutely false. As a matter of fact, quite the opposite is true. I tend to wear only sports clothing. There's rarely a piece of clothing that is not some sports brand.
Yeah, of course, but you said specific sport brands.
Yeah, right.
Which could have still been true then.
I'm typically wearing Nike shoes with Adidas socks, Under Armour shorts, and a WWE shirt. Matter of fact, that's what I'm wearing right now.
You're not actually wearing the shoes.
I'm taking the shoes off, but that's exactly what I'm wearing right now.
Also not sponsored by any of those companies.
Nope. But I'm just saying. Okay. Fair enough.
Talking about repeats, I kind of have a similar wording to the previous one, but I didn't care enough. So,
my favorite flavor of X is Y.
No, but my favorite Dungeons and Dragons alignment is chaotic good.
I believe that very much to be true. Yeah, because I think you've played that basically every time though. It's either chaotic good or chaotic neutral. I think so. Yeah, definitely chaotic. You about the chaotic shit.
It is true, yes. And you've only seen me play D&D 3 or 4 times with in total of 2 different characters.
Yep.
One of which was chaotic good, the other one was chaotic neutral. So, yeah.
Also, no, I also don't think that has any effect in the game, right? Does it change the stats in any way?
No.
So that it doesn't even matter at all.
Well, it defines your baseline of behavior technically.
But that's defined however you feel like it during the game. So, yeah. You know how I play.
Yeah, which is why I tend to give you chaotic neutral as an alignment, because that seems to be close enough without making you entirely evil, because, that
I'm not really that evil either. I'm just focused on.
You just like killing people.
That's not even true. I'm focused on the mission. I like defeating the enemies that stand in my way. Yes. That's more.
But you tend to fight people where you aren't even aware whether or not they're opposed to you. If
I'm that guy, I'm assuming that everyone around you outside of the party, the group that I'm playing with, is enemies. That's how that game works in my mind, right? That's just what makes sense.
That's not necessarily how the game works.
Yeah, but that's not really a me problem. That seems more like a game problem.
It seems more like a you problem.
You think so?
Yes.
No, I've gotten along with it just fine. Listen, my first ever password, when I created my first ever account on myself with anything anywhere, was password.
That's false.
That is false. But it might have just been true.
No.
I don't know. That was a joke that back in the day, oh, my password is password. Let's use that. That could have very well been possible.
No,
it's not true.
That seems... No. We've talked a lot about opinions before. I mean, you've mostly talked about facts about yours. Well,
there's never been a video where opinions haven't come to the forefront, I think.
I've definitely a lot of facts about me about opinions.
My whole channel is about opinions.
And here's one that might be a bit controversial, but I believe that despite recent changes, Pluto should still be considered a planet.
Do you believe that Pluto should be... No, because you're always in the scientific field, right? You're always with strictly by definition. No, you believe Pluto should not be a planet. And you in fact, would ridicule people who say that Pluto should be a planet.
Hell yes, I would.
Yeah, exactly. That's the type
Come
of
on,
person,
like,
that's the type of
seriously.
person you are.
Like, there is... It's like one of those space rocks that, like, there's, like, an entire belt of giant objects that is, like, around there. Pluto isn't even the largest in there.
Yeah. That's why I said you don't believe Pluto.
And, of course, if you look at the actual definitions and stuff and think about it, it does make no sense whatsoever.
They just need to stop mining that plutonium. Because that's shrinking the planet. They want to be a planet, stop mining that goddamn plutonium, man. I'm telling you.
That's a Rick and Morty joke.
I have, in my life, never consumed beer. That's another fact. True or false?
Alright. First of all, we gotta play the definition game here.
Uh-huh.
Does non-alcoholic beer count as beer?
Yeah, I would say so.
Then I'm just gonna guess false.
Okay, here's the thing, because I'm not really sure how to evaluate this. I have never consumed an alcoholic beverage before.
Yes.
And never will, for all I know. I have, however, eaten chili before. Texas chili that has beer in the recipe. However, of course, it's being cooked for 3 days, so there's no alcohol left in it.
Yes.
But technically, I've consumed something that beer was an ingredient in.
Yeah, I mean, I've had chicken before that they like fried in red wine.
Yeah, exactly. That's that type of stuff, right?
As a matter of fact, I had that yesterday
In college.
in college. Yeah,
Exactly, because they serve.
and I don't even like it.
You did?
No, I'm generally not a big fan of that, which is weird because I like both chicken and red wine.
Yep.
But just not together.
Wait, wasn't it duck? It was duck. It wasn't chicken. It was duck.
Are you certain?
I'm pretty sure it was duck.
It tastes like chicken.
Yeah, ducks are birds.
And the thing was like called like, what is it like,
Coq au vin. On rice.
It was something chick, and then there was like
Well, I got some food if you're in the mood.
Wine and
that's literally what they mentioned in Ruby Red.
what?
Let me satisfy your appetite with some coq au vin on rice. Ruby Red, better use your ruby head. That's literally what they had. That's the first thing that came to my mind when I was looking at that. It's like, oh, they're serving a Ruby Red meal. Nice.
All right.
Gotta go back and listen to that song.
So you're saying that's
I think it's duck. For all I know, that is duck because I know.
but you just said cock is in there, right?
That's French, right? But it's COQ, and I believe that's French and duck, right? Isn't that duck in French? It's some kind. Listen, it's some kind of bird. Okay. I know it's some kind of bird, but yeah, it's the first thing that comes up.
Okay.
Like
yeah, it means cock.
Google for the meal. Google for the meal. Really? It might be. I don't know. I presume it should be duck. It just might be. Apparently, you can make it from both.
Yeah, but it lists.
Yeah, the word literally translates to cock. That is correct.
Yeah.
So
I assume.
I don't know what it was, but either way,
I'm fair certain
it's a bird. But yeah, so back to the original question. Technically consume beer, but as an ingredient in a meal where there was no alcohol in it anymore. So I don't know what way you want to look at it. I don't care.
So you're saying it's very much depending on definition whether that was true or not. Great.
Absolutely. What's the fact, man? Another one.
As a child, I really liked the Power Rangers.
Well, I, as a kid, really liked the Power Rangers, so I'm just going to assume that you also did. Why wouldn't you? Yeah, you did.
Yeah, of course I did.
Yeah, who didn't? As a kid, the Power Rangers, they're Power Rangers. Even though that, I don't know, is that a nerd thing or a jock thing? Power Rangers.
Well, if you're watching it as an adult, it's definitely a nerd thing.
Yeah,
as a child, I think it's just a child
that's
thing.
like, it's cool as hell. So, here's another thing, right? I have no... Well, okay, first of all, none of this has been professionally diagnosed or anything like that. I don't have any known specific diagnosed phobia. But if I had to diagnose myself with one, it would be coinophobia. Fact or no fact? Well, you could split it as two parts.
Okay, first of all, what the fuck is that?
I'm not going to tell you that before you answer it.
Okay, so I'm fairly certain you mentioned before that you don't have any phobias, so that seems to be true.
Not any glaring ones, at least, like ophidiophobia, which is the fear of snakes. Which I don't have.
The other part, I simply don't know what it is, so I'm gonna guess it's still true.
Yeah, it's true. And I'm not claiming that I have it or anything. I probably don't. But that's the one that I would diagnose on me for, like, the most...
You're saying someone that you're closest to, yes. Continue.
Yeah, so it's the fear of being ordinary.
I expected that to be your one fear because, yeah, of course, right?
Because that would literally be the one thing that I'm most afraid of, yeah. If I had, like, I need to look at a list of all phobias ever and pick the one thing that I hate most. And then...
Yeah, I knew you have a problem about being average.
And then I'll diagnose myself with that. Cool. We got one more fact each, is that correct? Or
I got one more.
Okay, so do I. Yeah.
So you know that I like Doctor Who, right?
That is a fact.
And we've also previously talked about it. There has been multiple incarnations of the Doctor.
Oh, a lot of them.
Yeah. They're currently on the 13th one in the numbering, but there's also some in between that don't count, and there's alternate future versions and all kinds of bullshit. The point is, though, my favorite version of the Doctor, specifically, is the 5th Doctor.
The 5th Doctor? The thing is, you probably mentioned it in conversation before. Not with me, but while I was around. So you were talking to other people?
That would be too unlikely. Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's 5, so all I can do is play the odds and say no.
That is entirely correct. It is wrong. Well,
right.
What you said is correct. My fact is wrong. That's what I'm supposed to decide. It's tough to... I'm not entirely certain which one would be my favorite.
I don't know anything about any of them.
The thing is, I, as most people, started watching with the 2005 relaunch.
Most people who watch Doctor Who, not most people.
Fair. Like a lot of the fans today are people that started watching with that. So, that started with the 9th.
Alright.
And while I have started watching the old show, I'm not anywhere near the 5th Doctor yet.
Okay.
So the only exposure that will be like some crossover comic where they had like a very short scene.
Okay. So you don't even know much about it.
Exactly. Favorite Doctor out of the new ones? At this point, maybe 12?
Yeah, great guy.
Or 9.
Alright. Love them both. They're amazing. Last fact for me, and this one. You know football, right?
Yes,
Get back to that one.
Totally no football.
Alright, so...
That's a fact.
Yeah, that is a fact. So, the San Francisco 49ers were not originally my favorite football team. They were not my first football team. True or false?
This is tough.
This
is a tough question.
Also, just NFL. Talking just NFL.
I'm gonna say true.
Okay, so this is another, like, how are you gonna define it? The thing is, the first time I was really exposed to, like, football was obviously by my dad.
Yes.
As a kid. So, the first thing that I did, one of the first video games that I had was Madden 07.
Oh, yes.
For the Nintendo DS, right? So, and I remember that time, the Pittsburgh Steelers were really good. They just won the Super Bowl against the Cardinals. I think it was that season. And the first exposure to football, I was like, I'm playing this game.
Yeah.
Of course, I've watched it before, but I didn't really understand too much about it. So there was that like brief period of about 2 weeks where I was like, oh man, the Steelers. I like the Steelers. They're good. But of course I wasn't really a fan. Because then later that like the season when I started watching with my dad, the 49ers. Well, we're 49ers fans in this house, kiddo. You better be a 49er fan. I was like, of course I'm a Niners fan now. But technically, I don't know how you're going to define it. I've never been a fan of another team in the NFL. But the first team was like, oh yeah, kind of cool. The Steelers. There you go.
See, the problem is I've still got no clue whether or not my answer was correct.
No, neither do I. Neither do I. But I just wrote that question down with intent of explaining that, like dropping that little story about myself. There you go. That's all I wanted to do. So, let's get into the song of the week, man.
So,
we learned some stuff today. Not sure if it's good or not.
This is totally not related to anything we recently recorded or anything.
Uh-huh.
Two Friends.
The Two Friends by Mike Oldfield?
Yes.
Really?
Is there another song by that name?
No. But really? Like really?
What?
I used that song as my song of the week in like last week's podcast.
Really?
Are you joking?
You know I've got a really bad memory?
Are you
Should I pick a different song?
You remember the podcast where I said as a fact of the week that French is an awful language, and as a song of the week I said I gotta redeem myself to France, and I'm picking Two Friends as a song of the week.
Yeah, that seems...
For real, JJ, come
It's a very different memory
man. Yeah. You can, you know what, it can stick. Because it's worse picking your own dupes than picking other people's dupes. Even though there should be like a span of a few
Now
months
we've both done both of those things.
Exactly.
Actually, as a matter of fact, the one time that you picked a song that I had previously picked, it was literally on the next podcast as well.
Yeah, that was quite possible. Yeah, we need to keep up the spreadsheet because we have like a list we keep all
like, it wouldn't have even helped if it was up to date because I didn't look at it before I picked my song.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I wanted to make that reference about something that we've recorded literally today that I don't think is out yet, but anyways.
I picked Two Friends. So, it's a good song, by the way.
Yeah, it's a really good song.
Great song. Like, huge fan of the song.
Like, when you like, on your stick, you gave him, like, 12 songs or something like that.
Yeah. I was up on there, too.
And that was on there, and that was, like, most of the songs I was like, either this is weird and probably not that good, or, at the very least, I've never heard this before. Mm-hmm. And then there was Two Friends. And nostalgia kicked in.
Yeah,
instantly.
Song. Yeah, it's a great song.
Shadow on the Wall is actually on there, by the way. Which you weren't sure if it was on there.
It's also
it didn't show up in the player for some reason, which I assume is because it was already in there. So it's the same artist, same song title. So maybe the player automatically filters it out.
That's possible. So, Two Friends, I mean, really good songs can be mentioned twice. Here's my song of the week, and it's a literal song of the week. Like a song that I've been loving for a while now. It's actually one of the more recent songs as well that I put in the music show. I don't know how you feel specifically about this song, because I know you haven't listened to all of them enough yet. It's Floating Vibes by Surfer Blood. And this song is a good song. Like, let me tell you something. That song is a song. I love that song. You know what, objectively, it might not be the best song. Subjectively, to me personally, this is a hell of a song. I don't know why, but I don't know. You just think some type of way when you listen to that song. I love it. Great song. So you should go and listen to that again. And hopefully you like it as well. And as should all of you, by the way, viewers. And give us your song of the week as well, because there is a playlist.
Yes.
There is a playlist on our channel for like viewer song submissions. And you can submit songs to that because you're a viewer. Your song of the week. And we'll listen to it, and if it's a good song that we don't know yet, we're gonna shout you out for it.
Exactly.
And that's a good idea, so go do that. Also be sure to answer the question, win a free game. The Silent Age, it's giving away for free, costs $10. You wanna pay that, answer a question, and get it for absolutely none. That's for the podcast today. Thank you all for listening. This time it didn't take 2 hours like it did in the past.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of times. A bit over an hour, but that's
no wonder that I can't remember shit we did if it takes us 2 hours to get to the end.
That's true. But that's perfectly fine.
Can't remember shit that's been said after that.
Yeah. That's cool. You also don't remember our top 10 song lists.
I remember mine roughly.
Yeah, but like not even all of it. And not mine.
No, I know. Of course I don't remember yours.
That's criminal. Anyway, like the video if you enjoyed it. So, support the channel and consider subscribing because that would help us out a lot. And you can stay updated with all the new content that we do. Obviously, got a sneak peek about what we're about. We do Hearthstone. We talk about just stuff in general, but mostly we play games. That is true. So thank you for watching. And JJ.
That's it?
That's it.